Hi guys, and welcome to this episode of Now You Know. As you guys know, I have been doing a series on the stages of change. It's really important to know your stage of change because if you're trying to change a behavior, we all go through 6 stages of change before we actually make the change a part of our lifestyle. And you don't know you're going through these stages, but with every change in your life, you have. So I'm going to give you the 6 stages of change, and I'm going to give you an example of something that goes on in your life right now that you didn't realize you went through all these different stages. Okay, so the first stage is pre-contemplation. The second stage is contemplation, and we talked about contemplation last week. Today we're going to talk about preparation. The 4th stage of change is action. The 5th is maintenance, and the 6th is termination. Okay guys, let's take an example of a scenario in which you went through the 6 stages of change, but you didn't even realize that you did. Okay, let's take a behavior. Let's take your job. Let's say you're a bookkeeper right now. You want to be a CPA. You really want to be a CPA, but you kind of feel inside that you don't want to take the time to do it. You're kind of pre-contemplation on it. Like, you got a good job now, you're a bookkeeper, you're making decent money, and although you will eventually like to someday be a CPA, you're kind of like, you know what, that's not in my, not for me right now, I'm good. Not really thinking about it. Every now and then someone may bring it to your attention, didn't you tell me you wanted to be a CPA? And you're kind of like, yeah, but not now. That's pre-contemplation, right? Well then, one day your boss comes to you and says, hey, we may be closing this place down. You may be getting laid off, right? So in that moment, you start to think, oh my goodness, you jump right into contemplation because you're like, hey, I gotta get another job. Do I get another bookkeeping job, or do I go back to school and, whatever you have to get to become a CPA? My dad's a CPA, I should know that, right? But to get to the education you need to be a CPA. Like, what do I do now? You start to be in contemplation, start thinking about a change, right? Because before you were happy until your boss came in and said, yo, you may be losing your job, right? So then you start thinking, well, maybe I need to start looking into this. I need to really get serious and, really put some thought into this and start thinking about my future, right? Start thinking about my future. So then you decide, your boss comes back to you and says, it's for sure, you're getting laid off in a month, right? Because of the circumstances, you go from contemplation to preparation because you have to get your resume together. You have to start preparation to get a new job. You also have to decide if you're going to get a new job in bookkeeping or you're going to go study and become a CPA, right? So you have a decision to make. So you start prepping. Either way, if you're prepping to get a new job and you're looking up places to go to and you're trying to figure out what to do and how to do it, you are actively, maybe talking to recruiters. You start really getting your ducks in a row, right? So then what happens is you go into action. You start going on these interviews. If you decide you want to be a CPA, you want to study more, you start getting the materials to start studying, and you start studying. That's action. You start learning the material so you can be a CPA, or you are interviewing to be another bookkeeper someplace else, right? And then either one, you get a job as a bookkeeper, you're in maintenance now, and you're just holding your job down, right? You're doing your job. Or if you were studying to be a CPA, you become a CPA, right? And you are doing CPA stuff, right? You're in maintenance phase. And then in termination, you have settled into whatever career you chose, and you are now settled into that behavior or that occupation. You see how that works? You went to the 6 stages of change, and you didn't even know you did it. All right, so today we are talking about preparation, and that is stage 3. People in preparation are usually ready to take action within the next month or two. Okay, what they're doing is they're trying to plan out how they're going to accomplish this goal, how they're going to change this behavior. Okay, so the issue with preparation is a lot of times people in preparation think that they are in action, and they really aren't. And a lot of times they just jump from contemplation right into action, and that's a problem because you're not ready. And that's why a lot of people quit when you're trying to create this, New Year's resolution stuff. You basically jump from contemplation straight into action without going through the preparation phase, which is essential for your success. You have to sit down and plan out the process. You have to think about what you're going to be doing. So a lot of times we see that in gyms, especially from contemplation right into action without preparing correctly. So when you're in preparation, also, you're feeling a little bit, you feel committed to changing, but you may have a little bit of doubt, apprehension, because maybe you tried to do this before and it didn't work. So you want to change and you're in, but you may still have a little bit of question mark. You may have a little bit of ambivalence to the change. Okay, so how do you know when you're in preparation? You know you're in preparation when you start making little changes towards your changed behavior, the behavior that you want to change. So if you're trying to lose weight, you start doing little things like you start cutting calories or looking at how many calories you should be eating for your body. You start maybe cutting out sugary drinks or looking at how many sugary drinks you drink per day. You start looking into gyms to see what is the best gym for you. You look for childcare for your child. Maybe even looking at watching workouts on your computer to see which ones would be best for you. You're literally getting your plan down. And also in preparation, what's key is for you to tell others what you're doing, to be accountable to someone else. It's great to actually have an accountability buddy in preparation stage, so that person can hold you to the fire. Okay, so that to make sure that you're doing what you say you're going to be doing. So that is preparation, you guys, is getting ready to take action. Like I said, a lot of times it's mistaken for action, and that's why a lot of people fail when they jump too fast from contemplation right into action. They haven't prepared. They haven't planned it out yet. They haven't slowed their roll, right? You got to slow it down. You got to plan it so that you are able to sustain it. You got to think about it, because changing behaviors are hard, and you have to plan it. You have to be prepared for it. Okay, so that's preparation. Next week, we're going to talk about the next stage of action, which is my favorite stage. Action is awesome because when you first get started on something, it's so exciting to just be proud of yourself again, to actually do what you say you're going to do. So we'll be talking about action next week. And thank you so much for joining me. Now you know.